Testing, testing. Is this thing on? Welcome to the Daily What Ifs. Nephilim woman found in Jerusalem. Welcome everybody to Visual Disturbance. I'm your host, and we're back at it again on the Daily What Ifs. As you can see on the screen here, Nephilim are back in the scene. Nephilim woman found in Jerusalem. Folks, are just jumping right into it. I haven't done a Nephilim or a Daily What Ifs in a long time, so here we are back for another one. Subscribe, hit that like button. Let's jump right into this thing, and let's get into the information overload on Daily What Ifs. Welcome to the channel. As you can see here in the Jerusalem Post, a lot of things are going on in Jerusalem. A lot of things are going on in Egypt for many, many years here lately when it comes to archaeology. Very interesting times indeed when it comes to Nephilim. A lot of people don't know what the Nephilim are, but we're going to be talking about that here in a little bit. But as this article says and reads here, this excavation near Jerusalem finds 9,000-year-old six-fingered Neolithic shaman woman. Interesting times. The woman has 6 fingers on her left hand, a characteristic that ancient cultures was often interpreted as a sign of distinction and spiritual authority. Wow. As a recent study, published in the journal Waco Ky described a tomb found at the Matzah archaeology site in the hills of Jerusalem, dating back to the pre-pottery Neolithic B period. The excavations of Matzah conducted between 2018 and 2020 uncovered one of the largest concentrations of settlements from this period in the area. The research was carried out before the construction Highway 16, the third access road to Jerusalem from the west. The tomb containing the remains of a woman who may have played a spiritual role or acted as a shaman in her community. Anatomical analysis indicates that the woman was over 15 years old at the time of her death, which I think is very strange. Notably, she had 6 fingers on her left hand, a characteristic that ancient cultures often interpreted as a sign of distinction and spiritual authority. Funerary objects are found alongside the woman, including green stone necklaces. Imagine that. And a mother of pearl jewelry reinforced a hypothesis of her importance within the Neolithic society. Most individuals were buried with decorations such as stone, bracelets, pendants, and beads made of exotic materials like alabaster and green stones. According to the researchers, the stone bracelets found in some of the graves are associated with the transition rituals between life and death. Imagine that, folks. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. I just gave you the information. What do you guys think in the description box? Let me know what you guys think about this one, because the 6-finger thing got me, folks. The 6-finger got me on that. So here's my take on it. The question is, why now? If you've been following me for a long period of time on Visual Disturbance channel, a lot of things have went down the last 4, 5, 6 years when it comes to archaeology. And it's kind of interesting that these things that have significant value, right? Culture changes, let's just say giant stature, 6 fingers, something to that magnitude that would give you the heebie-jeebies, so to speak, right? The heebie-jeebies. Y'all heard it on here, the heebie-jeebies. So the question is, why now? Why would they expose this right now? It's interesting, if you followed me on some of the other platforms, I did some programs not too long ago about Gilgamesh's dream tablet, right? And, we had a certain individual, let's just say, I guess the woman had a high stature in her, as far as our country. She still has some type of significance, I guess. I'm not going to say anything as far as names, but I wouldn't say she has significance of anything. But she inquired about, the individual inquired about an email not too long ago, back years ago, talking about the Nephilim and where Gilgamesh was buried. Isn't that interesting? But then you have this in Jerusalem, the Nephilim woman found in Jerusalem. So, Brian, what do you think when you're asking yourself what the what ifs. And here's what I would say. Not only in the Bible do we talk about men and gigantic stature men that had 6 fingers, right? And 6 toes. Heck, even in the Genesis 6 verse 4, we've talked about it many times here on the Visual Disturbance channel. Giants that roamed the earth in those days, right? The giants, the Gilbarim, the sons of God mated with the daughters of men and bore out giants. So it's interesting with this narrative that's going on here. And you think, here's the thing, my first knee-jerk reaction when I think about this is the Kandahar Giant, the report back in the early 2000s. I've said it, I even did a little segment on the Kandahar Giant. I haven't talked about it in a while. But the Kandahar Giant was, to me, resonating an interdimensional, let's just say gateway, Stargate, whatever, scenario. And one would have to wonder with this Nephilim woman, I know that they didn't say that, but when I see 6 fingers, I think Nephilim automatically, okay? But they even say this woman was supposedly 10,000 years ago. That's how long, 9 to 10,000 years ago is the reports. But the interesting part is that she was 15 years plus is what they came to the date of her age. How in the world could you have a distinctive stature? Is it just because of the 6 fingers? More than likely, right? But here's the paradigm shift when it comes to this whole claim in archaeology in this modern day narrative. What if it's just a number that they're putting in? What if it's just something they're just speculating on? What if there's an interdimensional concept? Just like the other night when they talked about, on the Now You See TV, when they talked about the tall whites and the Nunahi, right? So what if this is some kind of weird spin that these there's like little, let's just say gifts of so-called, alabaster, these green necklaces, which I would get into more on the concept of Thoth and the emerald tablets. What color? It looks greenish, right? An emerald green. So it's interesting if there's any correlation with this. And there's another what if. There's a bunch of what ifs on this one. What if the date and the timing is not right? So if that's the case, then, we have 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. A lot of people stretch a little bit on the time, but I think there's more to like 7,000 plus a little bit, but not to 10, about Adam and Eve's story, right? The Garden of Eden, what's going on there? And then you have this Neolithic period in Jerusalem. And here's the weirdest thing about it. She has a shaman. She's a shaman. But how do you become, at that young of age, a shaman? But I guess it's the distinction of her 6 fingers, right? So my claim, when I thought about another one too, I thought about, is this setting the stage? Another what if? Is this setting the stage for the UFO phenomenon? Is the masses going to be stirred into this UFO agenda? And the Nephilim and the sons of God would be, in my opinion, a narrative and a, let's just say, a incursion of just like what we're talking about now, but this was thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago when the sons of God made with the daughters of men, they chose wives as they chose, right? And they bore giants. So what if this is a whole tied into some kind of weird, wicked, twisted scenario that has Nephilim written all over it? And what are they going to do with the body? Then when I alluded to earlier with the Gilgamesh's dream tablet, and let's just say there was certain things that was extracted from a certain place out east back in the 2000s. And let's just say that there was artifacts, 2,200 of them, by the way, in a museum in Iraq, 2,200 artifacts that had to do with resurrection, to do with like blood and different ritualistic kind of concepts. And, this article is talking about ritual traditions and things that was going on 10,000 years ago, supposedly to this Neolithic time frame. So when you have these things and you correlate it together, and you have the Gilgamesh's dream tablet, you have all these 2,200 artifacts that are to resurrect and reincarnate. I mean, there's some sick stuff and crazy stuff out there, folks. So what if? What if they found this because this woman has a significance? And we done a program not too long ago on the vampire in Poland. What if this reminds me of the account of the Lilith, right? Is there something here that we're missing? And I'm not putting down on the Jerusalem Post here whatsoever, but is there something else that people know that are in the higher ups? That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to academia and the churches, what are you going to do? These stories are coming out and they're just flowing every which way now. So what are you going to do when they're coming at the floodgates cannot be held back anymore and the dam is broke? What can you do now? And so are we going to just say the giants didn't exist? Are we going to say that they did not, the tibulas, and they was not as big as a car? I mean, are we not going to address that? Are we just going to say the Nephilim never existed? Are we going to say that the sons of God never existed? I mean, how much more can we throw out, right? And, then here's another narrative. I'm not going to say the certain word, but there's certain individuals that say that there's this certain group of humans that were just had carnivore nature, and they were just evil wickedness, and that's what happened, and that's how the sons of God, that's what the sons of God was, and that's how they became the giants, which the evidence is overwhelming that the Nephilim and the giant narrative and the Raphaim have once roamed the earth, and they was giants that roamed, that was of gigantic stature, 36 foot tall plus, and then after the flood, it was more like 15 to, 8 to plus, around that 8 to 15, 20 feet tall range. So what's going to happen, right? So is this some kind of like cultivating of the minds and the neural pathways for people to get their consciousness? 6 fingers, right? Yes, there's people out in other countries that have birth defects. Yes, I understand that. I am not putting down on that whatsoever. But the point is, the Nephilim woman here found in Jerusalem, what is the significance of the time frame? Here we are in 2025, and there's a lot of different things that are just coming out in the floodgates, like I keep saying, and it seems to be a paradigm shift. So I'll leave you with this. What if there's some kind of sick, twisted thing that they have the ability to either bring back, spiritually, or bring back resurrecting something of let's just say zombie-like, let's just say the Raphaim, it means the dead. Wonder if it's coming back around the bend, and this wickedness will be coming upon the earth, which the Bible says men's hearts will fail them looking after the things come upon the earth. So it makes you wonder, makes you go, what's going on in our reality? So surely goodness, what if they have the sick, twisted mind to have the ability to resurrect and do something manipulation and bring back these ancient gods, these ancient, let's just say, ones that went around the world that had a social status of a higher authority and had these abilities to use all these magic and wizardry, right? And that's why they had the bracelets and stuff on. It makes you wonder. And then not only to mention the 6 fingers, there's no telling what this woman had capability of. Her IQ, her intelligent level probably was off the chain because they was worshiping her at such a young age. So you have to ponder and wonder on the mentality and the reality of what we are functioning on in our world and what's going on today. It seems like people are losing their wit about them, like their comprehension of reality. And this would be one of those what ifs that just kind of baffles the mind. A Nephilim woman, the Nephilim, with 6 fingers, and I had to do a report on the daily what ifs, and I'll leave you with this. What if they're going around finding these archaeological digs, and they're using, let's just say, software and applications that starts with the A, and it's not too hard it's only 2 letters, and wonder if they're able to use it in a way to extract these ancient artifacts that go along with the Gilgamesh's dream tablet and other things that are used that change and shift the human consciousness. And just what if? So I'll leave you with that. Nephilim woman found in Jerusalem. Subscribe, hit the like button, share this thing out. I hope you're liking the daily what ifs. Comment below, let me know what you think about this narrative here about the 6-finger woman that they found in Jerusalem that's supposedly been sitting around for 10,000 years and at a young age. And let me know what you guys think. Thank you all for your time, and I appreciate everybody being so kind and always being just so supportive here at the Visual Disturbance channel. But until next time, keep your head on the swivel and watch out for the aliens, the Nephilim, the fallen angels, and keep your head up and don't look down, because They might get you in trouble because you never know what's going to be hovering over in the sky. So until next time, the Daily What Ifs, Nephilim woman found in Jerusalem. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you like the Daily What Ifs. But until next time, Visual Disturbance, I am out of here.
Got one that can see.